Who would have thought there were so many numbers between 0 and 1? But what are they? Where do we find these numbers? What do we call these numbers? How do we write these numbers? If the number 1 can represent a whole number and 0 can represent nothing, what could possibly be in between? Oh, I know. We call these numbers fractions. Fractions refer to the equal parts that make up the whole. Let's have a look at this orange. As you can see, there is one orange. We will call this the whole. If I carefully cut the orange down the middle, we now have two equal parts. I can say that I've cut the orange in half. I can now squeeze one half of the orange to make orange juice. Can you work out which circle represents halves? Circles A and B both have two parts, but they are not equal. In other words, they are not the same size, so they can't be halves. If you chose circle C, you were right. It has two parts that are exactly the same size, a blue half and a pink half. So we now know what a half looks like. Let's learn how to write one half. It can be written in two different ways, using numbers and words. I'll write the number 1 above this line. This represents the number of parts we are looking at. And I'll write the number 2 below the line. This number represents the total number of parts in the whole, or we can use words and write 1 half. Fractions are everywhere. Let's have a look and see what we can find. Oh my goodness, I've found a fraction. There are quarters in my lunchbox. Have a look at my sandwich. It has been cut into 4 equal-sized pieces. If I eat one piece, I've eaten 1/4 of my sandwich. What if I eat 2 pieces? You guessed it, I've eaten 2/4 of my sandwich. If I'm still hungry and eat a 3rd piece, I've eaten 3/4 of my sandwich. And if I can possibly squeeze in the last piece, I've eaten 4/4 or the whole sandwich. It doesn't matter what shape your sandwich is cut into. All that matters is that there are 4 equal-sized pieces. They could be triangles, squares, or even rectangles. To write the fraction 1/4, I will write 1 above the line because that is the number of parts I'm looking at. I'll write 4 below the line as there are 4 equal-sized parts that make up a whole. Or we can use words and write 1/4. Now you know how to write 1/4. I'll show you that I can use this number line to represent quarters. I draw my line and have 0 at one end and 1 at the other. Now we need to divide the number line into 4 equal-sized pieces. To do that, I'm going to draw a little line here, here, and here. Watch as I point to the 4 equal-sized pieces I just made. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we can label the number line like this: 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4, which is also known as 1. I need to post this letter, but how will I make it fit into this envelope? I've got an idea. Let's fold the letter into thirds. But what is a third? A third is when a whole is divided into 3 equal-sized parts. Watch as I fold the paper to create thirds. Here is 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. The letter will now fit in the envelope. I'm going to share this bowl of Minties between 3 people. I need to make sure everyone has the same amount. It won't be fair if I get more than you. So let's count how many we have in the whole collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's share them into 3 equal groups. I've just created 3 equal groups. This one is for you and represents 1/3 of the whole collection. I will write 1 above the line because that is the number of parts I am looking at. I'll write 3 below the line as there are 3 equal sized parts that make up a whole. Or we can use words and write 1/3. Look at this yummy cake. I'm going to share this cake between 5 people. To make it fair, all the pieces must be the same size. I place each slice on a plate and we all have 1/5 of the cake to eat. It's time to write 1/5. I will write 1 above the line because that is the number of parts I'm looking at. I'll write 5 below the line as there are 5 equal sized parts that make up a whole. Or we can use words and write 1/5.